Welcome, everybody. It's the Glenn Kuiper Show, All Giants here on YouTube, as it's a post-game edition of the show with the Giants dropping the game this afternoon to the Arizona Diamondbacks. We will also, we'll obviously cover that a little bit. We'll look at the series, kind of like we always do. We also have some other fun things. We'll keep an eye on that the race in that wild card in the National League where the Giants are right in the middle of it. We'll keep an eye on the Mets game they're playing right now. And there's four guys in the Giants that I want to talk about for different reasons. I'll do that and also get you a minor league update with a couple of Giants teams in the minor league playoffs. So it's going to be a busy show as always. Thanks for joining us here. You guys know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I want your comments. In fact, I may have a couple questions for our viewers today. I may need some help with a couple things. So as always, I love interacting with all the viewers out there and do that with comments or questions. And I always try to answer them as best I can. So that is what we are going to do today on the Glenn Kuiper Show, All Giants on a Wednesday night here, on a beautiful Wednesday night in the Bay Area. Tonight's show is brought to you by Tilden Properties. Tilden Properties puts your money in California's multi-family real estate, and you'll get quarterly dividends and equity buildup in the real estate market. Bay Area-based, family-owned Tilden Properties has been building investment wealth for their clients since 2008. Go to their website, check out what they have, tildenproperties.com. It is a very, very impressive resume. Or give them a call at 925-209-8558. We're also brought to you by the Carrick Real Estate Team. Whether you're moving up, downsizing, or making your first home purchase, trust the Carrick Real Estate Team to guide you home. Since 1978, the Carrick Real Estate Team has been helping families buy and sell homes across the Bay Area with a legacy of client-first service. Go to their website at carrickteam.com or give them a call at 925-548-4132. All right, let's get to the ball game. I don't know. It was, what do you say? I don't want to say a boring game because that's not fair. It's a big league baseball game, and there was a nice crowd out there at Oracle Park, but it just didn't quite have the crispness of some of the games we've seen from the Giants as of late. Final score today, Diamondbacks 5 and the Giants 3. So the calendar tells us 16 games left now in this season. 7 of those 16 are with the Dodgers, 9 at home, 7 away, with a big weekend coming up with the Dodgers coming to town. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But today it did not start out well. Carson Seymour, the rookie, got the start. And I've said this before with Seymour and Tang and Wisenhunt, who unfortunately is out with an injury. It's a huge opportunity for these young guys to show the Giants that they could pitch in the big leagues. They can be part of a rotation in the big leagues, especially pitching in this type of atmosphere where it is indeed a pennant race. But Seymour making his third start, he just didn't have it. Gave up a home run to the first hitter of the game. He ends up giving up 6 hits in an inning and a third, and 4 runs. So Bob had to get him out of there. He did. So not a good start for Carson Seymour. Disappointing. Had to go to the bullpen in the second inning, which you never like to do, but we need to give the bullpen some credit, especially Bivens, who went 3 2/3. But the bullpen as a whole, 4 relievers today, pitched 7 2/3 innings. You hate to see that, but they did a good job today. And the Giants do have tomorrow off, which certainly helps that group. But 7 2/3 innings today from the bullpen, 5 hits, just 1 run, and 8 strikeouts. So kudos goes out to the bullpen today, who had to take over for Seymour in the second inning. And they did a good job. They kept it. They kept the Diamondbacks down, and that allowed the Giants to kind of creep back into the game, but they came up short. So that's the pitching side of it. Offensively, it was Eduardo Rodriguez, a soft tossing left-hander, and that has just been tough sledding for the Giants this year. We've all sat and watched their difficulties against left-handed starters, especially guys who have a good changeup. And Rodriguez fits that, does not throw hard at all. Flips a little breaking ball in there occasionally, but it's the changeup, and it is a good one. And he pitched great today, the lefty, 6 in the third innings, just 2 hits and no runs. He struck out 6. And looking at my scorecard, he didn't give up any hits through 4 innings. Giants got a hit in the 5th. And then he went back out there in the 6th with a couple of strikeouts. Gave up a hit and a walk in the 7th. And then Torey Lovullo, the manager for the Diamondbacks, got him out of there. But he was very good. The Giants saw him earlier this year here at Oracle as well, and Giants had better success against him, but not today. And again, that the soft tossing left-hander this year has just done damage to the Giants. In fact, the lefties in general. I was curious to see what the Giants were hitting against left. I know it wasn't good. I checked it about a month ago, but the Giants are hitting 240 against right-handed pitchers. They're hitting 216 against left-handed pitchers for this year. And this season's almost over. So it has been a season-long issue. And when you make a list of issues that need to be corrected for 2026, doing better against left-handers is probably pretty close to the top. But anyways, that has been a thing. It showed up today. So Rodriguez shuts down the Giants. And maybe a sleeper in this whole game was the Diamondbacks defense. Diamondbacks have very good defense. Their outfield is great. But today it was the Blaze Alexander kid, the third baseman. He was terrific. He made 3 or 4 great plays, took away 2 or 3 hits, legitimate defensive plays. And that was actually a big part of this game. And so you got to give the Diamondbacks credit. Rodriguez was good. Their defense was very good. Giants come back to life a little bit in the 7th inning. And I thought the 7th inning was important. Unfortunately, it did not go the Giants' way. They had 1st and 3rd and 1 out, down 5-0, but an opportunity to get at least get on the board. But they had to strike him out, throw him on double play, which really just kind of sunk everything that inning. So they had an opportunity there. So you think, boy, if you could have got one there. And then Devers in the 8th inning hits a 2-run double that comes. I mean, I saw the replays. You guys saw the replay. It was probably maybe 6 inches to a foot from being a home run. So he come up just a little bit short. But that made it 5-2. And then in the 9th inning, the Giants rallied again, and they got a run, and they were probably 1 hit away, but they just couldn't get it, and they come up short. Again, the final score 5-3. So that's a little bit of a take on what happened in the game. I do like to run through the box score, just give everybody a shot at who did what today. And there wasn't a lot going on. Again, just the 6 hits for the Giants today. Ramos out of the leadoff spot, 1 for 4. He scored a run, and he had a base hit in that 8th inning. Devers was 1 for 3 with the 2 RBIs coming on the double. So Devers now 102 RBIs on the year to go along with 31 home runs. So he had a big hit today. Willy Adames was 0 for 3 with a walk. Matt Chapman continues to be a hot hitter. He was 1 for 3 today with a single and a walk, and he scored a run. A lot of good at-bats from Chapman. He's been terrific lately. He battled hard in the 9th inning, leading things off, and he ended up getting a walk and scoring a run. Wilmer Flores, a quiet game, 0 for 4. Casey Schmidt was 2 for 4, a couple of singles, or make that a single and a double. Jung-Hoo Lee was 0 for 4, but he did have RBI. Matos was 0 for 4, and Bailey was 1 for 3. So really, if you look at the box score, the scorecard, the bottom of the Giants lineup really didn't do much. Lee, Matos, Bailey combined 1 for 11, but it was the bottom of the order for the Diamondbacks that did do a lot of damage. Thomas had a couple of hits. Tawa had a couple of hits. McCarthy was on base 3 times. That's their 7, 8, 9 hitter. So that was another, maybe a difference in the game. You always like to get a little action from the bottom of your lineup. Giants did not do that today. So that's the box score for you. So when it's all said and done, Giants do take 2 out of 3, which is fine. But as I said on our last show, and I do believe this, where they're at, I just don't know that they can afford to lose 2 games in a row at this point. Does that make sense? So they lost today, but I don't think they can. They just can't afford it. There's not enough games left to give away even a 2-game losing streak. So we'll see what happens. But all in all, they do win 2 out of 3. Good offense on the first night. They score 11 runs, come back. Webb was great, got his 14th win. We're going to talk about Logan in just a little bit. 5 home runs on Monday. I was there on Monday night, and I usually sit in one of the empty broadcast booths, which is kind of fun. But I actually went down the club level and found a nice seat down the left field line a little ways, and I sat there for about 4 innings, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. It was awesome. The weather was really nice. It's club level's tremendous. It's got a perfect view of the field, perfect height, and I actually enjoyed myself. So anyways, that was on Monday night. Tuesday, Giants win 5-3. Robbie Ray battles and gets the win, couple more home runs. And then today, as we said, they come up short. So the Giants in the 3-game series scored 19 runs. They had 7 home runs. They do a good job with runners in scoring position. So the offense was pretty good. Just today, again, as I think it happens a lot. It's happened with the Giants this year, but I think in general it happens to most teams where you just need one more hit to maybe get in the game or maybe win the game. So they just come up a little bit short today. So those are just some of the numbers from the series in general, where the Giants get 2 out of 3 from the Diamondbacks. So that gets us to the pennant race, which we love, right? We love the pennant race. So let me just check here, see if I have it. Okay, so anyways, we'll get rid of that. We don't need that anymore. So the pennant race, we know what's going on here, right? Coming in, Giants 2 games behind the Mets, Reds 3 games behind the Mets for that second wild card spot. And we obviously know that the Giants do not have the tiebreaker for the Mets, so they can't end up tied. Giants would have to end up 1 game ahead. So here's the deal. The Mets have lost 4 in a row. They're at the Phillies. 3rd game of a 4-game series. Phillies have won the first 2. And I got the game right here next to me because I am a huge scoreboard. I love scoreboard watching. I think I've told you this. I look at the standings every day. It's just what I do. It's baseball. It's in my blood. So anyway, so what the heck is going on tonight in Philadelphia? Well, I do have more good news for you if you guys haven't checked the score. It's the Phillies 9 and the Mets 1 in the top of the 8th inning in Philadelphia. So it looks like anyways, and I don't like to hang out there too far, but it is 9-1 in the 8th inning, top of the 8th, with the Mets batting with 1 out. So the Mets have lost 4 in a row. Since August 1st, the Mets are 14-22. They just can. It's like they don't want that 3rd wild card. They just can't grab it as they continue to struggle. So interesting stuff. So if it stays that way, the Giants will remain 2 back. So they're catching some help from the Philadelphia Phillies. Now those 2 teams will play again tomorrow night, the final game of that series. And then the Mets go home and have a 9-game homestand. They'll play Texas, they'll play San Diego, and Washington. Texas is playing good baseball. They're right in the middle of the American League wildcard race. And San Diego, we know what they do, so it's not going to be an easy homestand for the Mets, but they do go home for a long homestand. And tomorrow in Philadelphia, it'll be Clay Holmes and Christopher Sanchez. So that's a good pitching matchup. And Sanchez, or I take that back. That's who is pitching tonight. Sanchez pitching tonight for the Phillies. He's terrific. So it looks like he's going to get the win. So as the show goes on, I'll keep an eye on that score. But that is what's going on right now. So that's good news for the Giants. The Reds and the Padres are playing tonight in San Diego. That was a little bit of an earlier start, a night game, but so that's the rubber game of the series. So they're just underway there, and I don't believe there's a score in that yet. So again, the Reds right behind the Giants, Abbott and Pivetta, a very good pitching matchup there. So that's what's going on in the pennant race. And with the Mets and the Reds and the Giants all kind of battling, with the Diamondbacks and the Cardinals just kind of hanging in there, but they are certainly running out of time. So it's fun to talk about the pennant race. It's even more fun when your team's in it, even though there's still a lot of work to do for the Giants, but it's interesting and it's fun and we all are into it. And that got me to thinking, the Giants have made a lot of changes with the trades and they got some young players up and they got the bullpen is completely different. And there's some kids getting opportunities in the field and there's some kids getting opportunities in the pitching rotation. We don't know how this season's going to end, right? But if you just think about how important this could be for the young players on the Giants or guys who have never pitched or played in a pennant race, it's such a valuable experience for these guys. If you just look at the Giants roster, look at their outfield. None of those guys have ever played in a pennant race. Ramos is young. He never has. Lee hasn't. And then you got the young guys, Matos and Gilbert. And none of those guys, they're experiencing this for the first time. And that's a huge deal. And it can make a big difference for a player as their career moves forward. Being able to not only play in an atmosphere where you got to win every game. I mean, every game is and that's where the Giants are. And that's where they've been now for a while. And they're succeeding. But the point is feeling that pressure and succeeding in that with that pressure on, which many of these young players have done. That's a huge, huge deal. And that will help you a lot as a player. It's not going to turn a utility player into an all-star. That's not what I'm saying. But it will make you handle pressure situations better as your career goes on if you experience it at a very young point in your career. And that's what some of these guys are doing. The Giants have 14 pitchers right now. If you just look at the list of pitchers, I'm saying half of them are in this atmosphere in a pennant race for the first time. That is going to be a positive for this team, whatever happens, whether they pull off this miracle and get in or whether they don't. The fact is you have young guys experiencing this and for the most part succeeding. I mean, even Patrick Bailey, this is his third year, but this is really the first time. It's a serious pennant race. Casey Schmidt. And so I guess my point is all these young players and some new players, it can only make them better and give them confidence as their career goes on, whether it's here with the Giants, whether it's with somebody else. But when you play in a pennant race for the first time, and then you have a little bit of success, and then you have success as a team, so you feel it as a team, and you see how important it is to stay tight as a group and play in these games where every night, man, every night, right? I mean, look what's going to happen this weekend with the Dodgers coming in. They're fighting off the Padres. Giants are fighting to catch the Mets. It's high stakes, high pressure. And these youngsters have done a pretty good job. And they're playing good baseball as a team. And, I think that's important. And you learn how to blend in and learning from the veterans who have been there. And there's just so much to learn when you're in this type of atmosphere and the games are meaningful in September. I wanted to throw that out there as a talking point because I think it does make it's going to make a big difference. It's going to help these young players be better players down the road. So, all right, let's check the comments. Got to get to those. All right. Reds are the team to watch as well. They are only a half game behind us. We've been watching the Reds all along. I mean, obviously, because the Mets are who you're chasing, you're keeping a close eye on the Mets, but the Reds are right there. As I said, they're one game behind the Giants, but the Reds have a really, really good pitching staff. Young guys, and they're grinding. So they're a fun team to watch, actually. I just want to check the score. Reds Padres are scoreless at the end of the third. So I don't mean to be a full scoreboard guy here, but it's important. It's important stuff. Let's see. All right. Next series going to be lots of fun. Well, yeah, I mean, absolutely, with the Dodgers coming down, and we are, we're going to get to that in our very next segment. But Dodgers are interesting, not playing quite as well as most people would have thought. We have played the Dodgers well, even though the record doesn't show. Yeah, 2-4 against them, but all in all, yeah, I mean they have played pretty well. I think it's going to be a spirited series, and I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for Friday night. Gary says, what is strange about the Mets is that in spite of their humongous payroll, they are breaking in 3 rookie pitchers during a playoff stretch drive. That is very difficult to do. But that's a great point, Gary. And because it's interesting to me is the Mets have had all these injuries with their rotation and they are, and all 3 of these guys are really, I mean, they are uber prospects. The 3 guys that they have a chance to be special, and they're getting this feel of pitching in a pennant race for the first time. I mean, boom, you guys are in it. And not only are they in it, but they're starting. I mean, they're in the rotation and there's 3 of them. So yeah, it is interesting. The Mets, doing all this, but now they're going into the final 3 weeks of the season or final 2 weeks of the season with 3 rookie pitchers who have all made, I think, less than 5 or 6 starts. But they are good and they're talented and they look like they're going to be there for a long time. And Gary, think about this. I think this was in play here. So, and I'm going off the rails here, and I'm talking about the Giants getting Blade Tidwell, the young pitcher from the Mets, a young starter who's talented, and a lot of people think he'll be a pretty good big league starter. And I wonder if the Mets having these other 3 guys that are ready to pitch in the big leagues that are there now, who we're talking about, I wonder if that made it a little bit easier for the Mets to give up somebody like Tidwell to the Giants in that trade. Does that make sense? And the Giants give them credit because I think they probably, they have scouts. Every teams have scouts. They look, they know what all the other teams' minor league systems look like. And it could have been a situation where, everybody knows, hey, the Mets are loaded at AAA with young starting pitchers. I'm sure the Giants knew that. And, it wouldn't surprise me if that came into play, knowing that, well, the Mets got these other 3 guys. So maybe they can afford to give up another young starter in a trade for Rodgers. Does that make sense, Gary? And I do think that came into play. You know all the other teams' minor league systems. You know what they have, what they don't have. And in this case, who knows? Maybe the Mets using these 3 young pitchers, maybe it helped the Giants get Blade Tidwell. I don't know. It's something to think about. Anyways, all right, let's move on to the Los Angeles Dodgers because they're coming to town, folks. They're coming to your city. It should be fun. It should be fun. Dodgers will be here. They're at the Rockies tonight in Los Angeles, and then the Dodgers will be off tomorrow, just like the Giants. So both teams will have an off day. And the Dodgers fighting, man. They got a 2-game lead over the Padres in the National League West. So they don't have this thing wrapped up by any stretch of the imagination. Think about this. Think about the Padres and the Dodgers battling for first place in the National League West. And the fallout of that is you're going to be the second wild card team if you don't win the division. Okay. What's the big deal, right? Well, the second wild card team has to travel for the wild card series. They will be the road team in the wild card series. The first wild card team gets to host the second wild card team. The third wild card team would go to what could be the Dodgers if the Dodgers hang on and win the division. So my point is if whoever wins that division is going to host a wild card series more than likely. Okay. Whoever finishes second is probably going to be the second wild card team, and they would have to go on the road for the first wild card series. So there's ramifications there in winning it or finishing second and becoming the second wild card team. If that makes any sense. If I confused you, I apologize. But hey, you'd rather be at home for a 3-game wild card series than go on the road, right? So that's in play with the National League West and those two teams fighting for it. And this is interesting to me. Tell me if this surprises you guys. Since July 1st, I mean, that's 2.5 months. I mean, that's not a small sample size. I mean, that's almost half the season, right? The Dodgers are 28-32. Does that surprise you? I knew they weren't playing that well, but they're 4 games under 500 the last 2.5 months of the season. Listen, they're a good team, but that surprised me because that is a long time. They don't seem to be quite as dominant as they have in years past. They're still very talented. We all know that. We know the names. We know the numbers. We get it. But that's 4 games under for 2.5 months. Now they have gotten healthy toward the end of the season here. Their pitching staff is getting healthy. I know Snell is pitching tonight against the Rockies, so he's back. So that beat up pitching staff is coming together. And that's a pretty good group, obviously, but still the numbers are the numbers. And it's just interesting. I found that to be very interesting that the Dodgers, that is their record since July 1st, July, August, and we're 10 days into September. So anyways, vulnerable, maybe a little bit, but still very, very talented. I was looking at the pitching matchups for the weekend. I know Verlander is set for Friday. I didn't see anything official from the Dodgers. I saw a couple unofficial lists, and the couple that I saw had Ohtani actually pitching Friday, Yamamoto Saturday, and then Kershaw, who's been great, pitching on Sunday. I don't think that's official yet for the Dodgers, but it looks like the Giants will see Shohei Ohtani probably Friday night. If not, they'll see him at some point this weekend. So we'll see what the pitching matchups are. Logan Webb is going to pitch either Saturday or Sunday. But anyways, it's going to be a lot of fun. Giants are 2-4 versus LA this year. But starting Friday, they will play the Dodgers 7 times in the next 10 days. So that's pretty fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Friday night's going to be rocking. Can't wait to get there as the Dodgers come to town. So are they vulnerable? I don't know. Maybe, but the numbers are interesting. Okay, so my next segment is going to be fun. I was thinking about some different Giants players that I wanted to talk about. So I just had reasons for it, but I picked 4 guys that right now are interesting to me. And I just wanted to hit on each one a little bit and get your thoughts. I want some comments on this, just for fun. And I wanted to start with Drew Gilbert. My question is, I think it's a legitimate question. How do you explain Drew Gilbert? He's played 25 games for the Giants. He's hitting .231. He's got 3 home runs. I think he's a pretty good little player. I do. We don't know yet. Small sample size. We don't know if he's an everyday player. Is he a platoon player? We're not sure. But there's a fair amount of talent there. And he does some things that the Giants like. He's very good defensively. He doesn't strike out a lot. He puts the bat on the ball. He's got some speed. So anyways, that's Drew Gilbert, the baseball player. Now, what I need to know is what the heck is going on in the dugout with Drew Gilbert. And I say this in a good way, okay? He has become, he's a media darling already, right? He's like a cult hero. He's played in 25 games. So I'm watching TV the other morning, and I'm zipping around looking, right? And I come across the Pat McAfee show, which is a very popular show on ESPN. They talk about all sports. It's fun, right? And they're talking about Drew Gilbert. And they're kicking it around like, yeah, who is this guy? Is this guy any good? Look what he does in the dugout. It's great. It's fun. And this is a huge national show. And they're talking about Gilbert. They're talking about it's the dugout antics that I think everybody enjoys, and it's just a young player just having fun. He's a little crazy. And I got to tell you, he makes me laugh. He makes me laugh. And now, I know some people pretty well on the Giants broadcast crew, and they gotta keep an eye on this guy because you never know what he's gonna do, right? So I mean, I don't even know how to explain. He was biting Robbie Ray's sweatshirt the other night. It's crazy stuff, but you have to laugh. And one thing that makes me laugh, I think the players love, I do. I think the players enjoy it. I think they just look at him sometimes and shake their head, but they laugh, they enjoy it. He's full of energy. And there's something to it, right? It's almost like having your little brother in the dugout and you're not sure what he's going to do. But I think the players enjoy it. And listen, I think it's interesting. You need, in the course of a long season, it's 162 games. It's really long. You need some energy guys, right? You just do. Willie Adames is an energy guy. It's legit. I mean, he brings it every day. He's upbeat. He keeps guys going. But that's hard to do for one guy the whole year. And that's what Willie does. That's one of the great traits he has as a player and as a teammate, is he does pull it off. But the Gilbert thing has brought a different type of fun energy to the dugout late in the season when everybody's grinding and you can use a little levity, right? Well, that's what he's brought. And you think about the good teams that won 3 World Series in 5 years, and Hunter Pence was an energy guy. He was like that, right? He was a little bit like Willie Adames, always positive, always bringing it, right, and playing hard. But he wasn't Pablo Sandoval was like that. So there was more than just one guy, right? And that's where I think this Gilbert thing comes in. But I tried to think like he's not the Energizer Bunny. It's not like that. It's like the little brother who you just aren't sure what he's going to do, and you just got to tell him to calm down every once in a while. And I do think at times, they're the guys maybe like, hey, easy there, big fella, but he's having so much fun, and he's a good kid. You could tell he plays with fire. He's got a little moxie out there, which is fun, and it has done something to, I think, the clubhouse and the dugout. Is it the reason why they're on this hot streak? No, but it doesn't. It just makes it more fun and more enjoyable. And the kid has legitimate big time energy. Okay, and if that rubs off on guys in a good way, which I think it does a little bit, isn't that great? And if it helps guys get through the season when it's a grind, trust me, then more power to him. I hope the kid turns out to be an everyday player. I hope it turns out to be, a star. I don't know if that'll happen or not, but he's already pretty popular here in San Francisco, and now they're talking about him at a national level. So I want to look at my comments here because of the Gilbert thing, and can somebody explain, what is it? Is it energy? Is it? I don't know exactly the term for what Gilbert is all about, or the explanation. So help me. I'm just looking here. Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay, you guys are great. I'm just looking at the comments here. I like to read. I like to check them before. How about this one? Maybe this is it. You can't explain him. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Because I keep going back to the Energizer Bunny. I don't think that's it. I don't think that's it, right? Let's check out what our good friends Bake the Dough have to say. Explaining Drew Gilbert is like trying to answer what the meaning of life is. See, it's not easy. It's not easy. Okay. That's why I needed to go to my subscribers here. I need some answers. He's getting national attention. He is. He is. Um, I this is a good one. Zach says the Robbie Ray comment about him biting his shirt was hilarious. It's I'm serious. It's like, did that? And I thought that somebody else said something funny. They said, you can tell Robbie Ray has little kids because he just kind of looked at him and kind of smiled and half shook his head a little bit. And Robbie Ray has 4 small children. And it was almost like Robbie Ray has seen this before in his house, a kid biting his shoulder, but this happens to be a teammate. That's what made it so funny was I think Ray's, and he said, you got to keep an eye on him a little bit. It was something like that, he said. But this stuff is funny. I mean, it's really, really funny. I just want to see what you guys, it makes it more fun. Absolutely it does. It absolutely does. And I mean, I like when the kid's playing, and that's not even, we're not even talking about performance. I just, oh man, I don't know. Let's see. You need a guy like that, loosens things up over the course of a long season. Gary, that's exactly my point. I don't know if it helps you win games or not. It doesn't hurt. But those guys are having a lot of fun. I mean, they're playing well and they're winning, and that ultimately is the most important thing, right? But they are having fun. And quite frankly, it's a layer of enjoyment that has been added to the game, to the telecast when I watch it at home. If I'm there, it's kind of fun to watch Gilbert before the game. But anyways, I felt like we needed to talk about Drew Gilbert, and good luck to him. I hope he turns out to be a terrific player, and he's got some talent, so let's pull for him. Now, next guy I want to talk about is Matt Chapman. I've been interesting this year. I've been a little bit surprised by the amount of criticism this year to Chapman. I'm not saying it's a lot. I'm not saying, all players deserve criticism at times. I think it also needs to be phrased. The criticism needs to be phrased properly. That's one thing I learned as a play-by-play announcer. Instead of saying, boy, that guy really stinks lately, you could say, yeah, he's struggling lately. There's a difference. Right? And listen, I'm a Matt Chapman fan. I have been all along. Every Giants know that. I'm realistic with him. I stick up for him when I think he needs to be stuck up for. I also will point out parts of his game that maybe he's not as good at as other parts of his game. I've been pretty honest with that as well. I just feel like there's a lot to Chapman as a player. Okay. And I think some of that stuff gets lost a little bit because he strikes out too much, or he's struggling with runners in scoring position, which he has this year. He'll be the first to admit it. But there's so many good things to his game that I just don't think we should underestimate the value of Matt Chapman to a team, an organization, a clubhouse, because there's a lot to it. Okay. And I don't want anybody to think I'm sticking up for him because I like him. No, but I'm being realistic here. Okay. This year, he's missed 34 games, banged up. He came back. Clearly, the hand was still bothering him. I mean, I could see it, and I think you guys could probably see it. The hand was coming off the bat occasionally with the swing. And as a baseball player, if you have a hand injury or a finger injury, that's not good. And it's probably not going to completely heal and be 100% till the season's over. Any type of finger, hand injury, anything. Because every time you make contact with the bat and the ball, it jars your hands. Even if you hit it on the sweet spot, there's a little vibration. And you think about how many times that happens. You take batting practice in the game, it's a baseball thing. You don't want to injure your hands or your fingers. It's going to bother you the whole year, and it's not going to heal till the season's over. That's what happened to Chapman. And I think you could tell when he came back, In July, he did not have a good July, and I don't think he was healthy. He went back on the disabled list, got a cortisone shot, and it helped. And I think he has looked better. Listen, he has holes in his offensive game. I've seen Matt Chapman from the first day he stepped on a big league field when I was with the A's. He has some holes in his game. He strikes out a lot. He always has. Okay. He's had trouble with high velocity pitchers. He always has. And a lot of guys do. He has trouble with the fastball here. A lot of guys do. That's not uncommon, right? But my point is those are things that have always been a shortfall of his game. And actually, if you look this year, his strikeout percentage this year is the lowest it's been since 2019. It's 23.3%, which is about a point above league average, okay? But it's 3 points less than his career strikeout percentage. So what I'm saying is it's down a little bit this year. Strikeouts have been an issue for him. It always has been. He has not had a good year with runners in scoring position. He'll be the first to admit that. That's down. He's hitting just 200 with runners in scoring position. In his career, he's a 240 hitter, okay? So those are two areas that I think he's been criticized some for. I think with the strikeouts, sometimes, and I've heard this from people, it's like, well, it's when he strikes out. It's like, okay, I get it. It has been, but it's been a struggle this year with runners in scoring position for him, and that kind of falls in the same category. Okay, now his walk percentage is up. He does a really good job getting on base. Has a high on base percentage. And as far as the batting average goes, if you're into that, he's a 241 career hitter. He's hitting 242 right now. He's not going to hit 290. That's not the kind of player he is. Okay. So I just want to acknowledge his deficiencies as a hitter, but that's not all you can sit with Chapman as a player. That's just not fair. He is sensational at third. Everybody will agree with that, right? I don't think there can be any arguments there. He's got good power. He's going to get double. He's going to score a lot of runs because he's going to be on base a lot. He's an excellent base runner. Fundamentally, he's very good. If you watch him do to run the base, he's a very strong fundamental player. That's not an issue. I think you could say he's a pretty important guy in this lineup. Okay. And lately, he's been great lately, which is good. We're seeing him now. We've seen him struggle early. We're seeing him now in a nice hot streak, right? And he's a streaky guy. Most players are. But right now, in the last 17 games where the Giants have had this nice stretch, they've won 13 out of 17. And that stretch right there started when he came off the injured list. So I don't know if that's coincidental. Probably not. I mean, they're much better when he's in the lineup. But he's 18 for 55. That's about a 327 in that stretch. So he's been a hot hitter. And here's something interesting. I think you guys will like it. In those 17 games we're talking about, since he came off the injured list, he has 11 walks and 9 strikeouts. So that's gotten a little better. In fact, in the last 12 games, he's only struck out 3 times. So he's getting a little better there toward the end of the year. So anyways, I just think there's a lot of good things about the way Chapman plays the game. He plays the game the right way, and he wants to be out there every day. All that stuff is really, really important. And a couple other criticisms I've heard of him as well, he shouldn't be batting cleanup. He's not a cleanup hitter. Well, that's not his fault that he's batting cleanup. If you're mad about that, then blame the manager for putting him in the cleanup spot. He's got nothing to do with where he hits. Should he be hitting 5th or 6th? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would agree with you 100%. But you can't criticize him for hitting 4th. He doesn't do the lineup. The manager does the lineup. And the contract's too long. The contract is what it is. I mean, it's a 6-year deal. He's in the first year of this. It's through 2030. He's going to be 36, 37 years old at the end of it. Who knows? We're going to worry about the last 2 years of the contract. I mean, let's enjoy how good of a player he is. There's some contracts out there that are a lot worse than his. If you're worried about, well, how old he's going to be at the end of the contract. Take a look at how old Manny Machado is going to be, and Tatis, and Trey Turner, and Bryce Hart. Take a look at Vladimir Guerrero, how old he's going to be, and Juan Soto. I mean, are we going to worry about that? Let's enjoy the guy who plays the game the right way. He's not a perfect player, but he's a very, very important part of what the Giants are trying to do here. And he answers the bell, and he plays hard, and he wants to be out there. And I think there's a lot to that should not be overlooked. Does that make sense? So that's my my feeling about Matt Chapman. So my next up, Logan Webb is a star. I know I'm not going out on a limb, but let's not take this guy for granted. Let's not. If you really, this guy is awesome. Right now, he got his 14th win on Monday. Okay, so right now, as going into tonight's game, he's second in the league in wins with 14. The guy in Milwaukee, Peralta, has 16. Okay, second in the league in wins. If you're a big wins guy, okay. He's eighth in the league in ERA at 3.12. Here, listen to this. First in the league in innings pitched and first in the league in strikeouts. Logan Webb leads the National League in strikeouts, and he leads the National League in innings pitched. Now, that's not a big deal because Logan Webb led the league in innings pitched in 2023. He led the league in innings pitched in 2024, and he's going to do it again in 2025. Think about that. 3 straight years of leading the league in innings pitched. He's never been on the injured list. How many pitchers can you say that about? Right? I mean, he's been in the big leagues for, 2021 was his full year. I think was his first full year. He's never been on the injured list. I just think that he's so good, and we're just used to him being so good and never missing a start, that sometimes maybe we overlook him, and let's not do that, because the player is another cornerstone building block guy that you absolutely have a gem in, because he wants to be here. He wants to be a Giant. He wants to stay here. He wants to pitch every day. And those guys are invaluable. And that's why I brought up Chapman, and Webb is the same way. Okay. These are guys that you just have to build around. Okay. And here's the best thing. Logan Webb, a couple years ago, signed a long-term contract to get a 5-year, $90 million deal, right? So figure it out, do the math, $18 million per year, which for what he does, let's give Farhan some credit. He's the one who signed Webb to that deal, and it's a bargain. It runs through 2028. So you got Logan Webb 3 more years. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about anything. If he hadn't signed that long-term contract, he would have been a free agent after this year. What would it have cost? What would Logan Webb at the end of this year get as a free agent? I mean, Corbin Burns got $210 million. Who would you rather have? Corbin Burns is out. So my point is let's appreciate Logan Webb, and let's be happy that he got signed to a long-term deal. That's a huge deal. That's a huge deal, because this guy is a gamer, okay? We don't know if he's going to win the Cy Young, but he's going to get votes. Listen, he was second in the Cy Young voting in 2023. He was 6th last year. He's going to get close again. Does he have enough to overtake maybe Paul Skeens or the Sanchez kid in Philadelphia? I don't know. But again, let's not miss how great Logan Webb is. So that was the guy I wanted to talk about as well. There's one more guy I want to talk about. His name is Joel Peguero. Could he be for real? Now, maybe I'm jumping the gun here a little bit. I don't want to do that, but I think we need to talk about him. This is a guy who's 28 years old. He's been in the minor leagues forever, never got to the big leagues. Took him 10 years to finally get to the big leagues. And he's only pitched in 8 games. So we're not anointing him Mariano Rivera here. But my point is in these 8 games, okay, he's been great, right? He hasn't allowed to run. 12 innings, he's got 11 strikeouts. He's only walked 1. And it's interesting because his ERA in Sacramento this year was 5.5. But he had a good spring training. Giants liked him in spring training. And we've seen him pitch now a little bit. And I mean, this is a guy, he's throwing 101 miles an hour with movement, right? So there's something there. But is it going to stay there? But here's what I think is kind of cool. He's done a great job. I just gave you the numbers, but he's pitched in really tight situations now. I mean, Bob's bringing him in with guys on base in tight games. And, now it's the 7th inning. And so remember at the beginning of the show, I talked about guys getting a chance to pitch and how much it's going to help them in a pennant race. Well, here's a perfect example. Here's a guy finally in the big leagues, throwing great, and he's doing it in the heat of a pennant race in the late innings now. That is going to help Joel Peguero. Now, do we know that this is going to carry over to next year and he's going to be a big part of the bullpen? We don't know. We haven't seen enough of that yet. But there's something there. There's something there. And for this bullpen, which is, it's completely different now because Doval's gone, Rogers is gone, Rodriguez is out, Eric Miller's out. So it's a little bit of a hodgepodge of guys. They've done a pretty darn good job. And this guy, to me, is the most intriguing one. And so he deserves a little play here, I think. So let's keep an eye on Joel Peguero. Let's enjoy what he's doing and realize that this is helping him a lot. This is really helping him a lot. I hope he can carry it over. I hope he can, finally stick in the big leagues. We'll find out. But he's done a good job, so I just felt like he needed to be mentioned because it sort of fits into what we're talking about. This is a guy who could really be helped by where he's pitching now and in these tight games. So I love the kid. I hope he does great and I hope he continues. All right, let's check some more comments as we're getting ready to close out the show. Forgive me for I'm not good at the computer thing, so I apologize for that. All right. I want to see about talking about Chapman. Okay, well, you know what? Let's see what they say about some of the things I said. Just don't put Chapman to deliver key hits. Let him pop it once in a while, a little down in the lineup. I mean, that's not terrible. I mean, I think in a top-notch lineup, Chapman's probably in a 6-hole hitter. In this Giants lineup, moving ahead, thinking about next year, maybe the 5th spot or the 6th spot. We'll see. You got to have people that hit 4, 3, 2, and 1 too if you're going to do that. Let's not forget that. All right. All that tech money and don't say Frisco. Can't say Frisco. You got to say San Francisco. Let's buy a World Series team like LA. Yeah, they have. And they got one last year, so it worked. That's the thing is, if it works, if you spend a ton of money and it works, then you got to tip your cap. That's why it's interesting with the Mets. Because they spent a ton of money and they're kind of limping around. So anyways, okay. All right. Okay, good. You know what? I'm going to move on to my last, I'm going to change gears here big time, get to my last segment of the show. But before I do that, I want to let you know that the final score from Philadelphia is the Phillies 11 and the Mets 3. So the Giants lost, but they don't lose any ground to the Mets in the standings. They remain 2 back. with 16 to play. So again, Phillies 11, Mets 3, and the Mets have now lost 5 games in a row. So anyways, all right, I want to wrap this up with a little minor league update, shifting gears here. And the reason I want to do that is because the minor league season is coming to a close. It's over for some of the teams, and some of the teams are in the postseason for the Giants. Sacramento still has 10 games left. They're done on September 21st. Richmond, the Double-A team, they're done on Sunday, so they're closing out their season. But I wanted to give a shout-out to some of these, the lower level minor league teams for the Giants who just, had terrific season. And from what I've been told by numerous people and some scouts is that these Giants teams in the lower minor leagues, the real young kids, they are loaded with talent, which is exciting for the future, but it's a little ways off. The Dominican Summer League is over. That's where a lot of the Latin players, or all the Latin players that the Giants sign, international signings, the real young kids, they go there first. So it's 16, 17-year-old kids. But there's 2 teams down there that the Giants have. There's a black team and an orange team. And those 2 teams combined to go 68 and 42, which is a terrific record, right? Again, 2 teams down there. But it was a very, very good summer in the Dominican Summer League for the Giants organization. The Arizona Complex League, which is kind of the next step up from the Dominican Summer League as far as the age goes. It's where the kids usually go next. That's right down in Arizona at the complex down there. You go down there and watch games every day if you want. But that group, again, loaded. Pitching, couple of 3 or 4 position players that everybody's talking about. That team went 42 and 18. 42 and 18. And some of those kids actually got moved up to San Jose. Now, San Jose finished at 81 and 51. They are in the postseason. In fact, tomorrow. They're playing a best of 3 series. That's for like the Northern Division of the California League. They're down in that series. They're up in that series 1-0. They won last night over Fresno. And game 2 is tomorrow night in San Jose. So if they win that, then they would play the winner of the Southern Division playoffs in that California League. So good luck to San Jose. Again, they're up 1-0 in their series, playing tomorrow to try to advance to what would be the California League Championship Series. So, and Eugene, the high A team for the Giants, they are also in a series. It's a best of 5 series for the Northwest League title. Whoever wins that wins the Northwest League. Again, that's high A. Eugene is down 1-0 in that 5-game series. Game 2 is tonight. So anyways, just wanted to get you updated on what's going on in the minor leagues. San Jose, Eugene in the postseason, and the lower level teams all had terrific seasons. So anyways, that's a little minor league update. I know fans like to see what's going on down there. So, all right, that's it for the show. I hope you enjoyed it, everybody. I tried to cover lots of stuff. I hope you guys are okay with that and have a little fun as well. And remember, Giants 2 back, 16 to play, with the Dodgers coming to town for the weekend. I'm not sure that it can get much better than that. So if I see you at the ballpark, or if you see me at the ballpark, stop me and say hi. I'd love to meet all the great subscribers and people who listen and call in. I very much appreciate it. So that's it for the show. Tonight's show has been brought to you by Tilden Properties. As an investor, one of the best places to put your money is California's multi-family real estate. Bay Area-based and family-owned, Tilden Properties has been building investment wealth for their clients since 2008. Check out their portfolio at tildenproperties.com and give them a call at 925-209-8558 if you are interested in investing in multi-family real estate. We're also brought to you by the Carrick Real Estate Team since 1978. They have been helping families buy and sell homes across the Bay Area with a legacy of client-first service. Contact Mike Carrick today for a free home sale or purchase consultation. Call Mike at 925-548-4132. Go to their website at carrickteam.com. All right, that's it for tonight's show. I certainly hope you enjoyed it. You guys are great. I love talking to you each and every week. We'll do a show coming up this weekend. with the Dodgers in town. Get to the ballpark if you can get a ticket. Dodgers Giants Friday night. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the Glenn Kuiper Show. All Giants. We will see you next time.